Well, here I go again with another video. And if I'm talking a little bit low, it's because it's early and my son's, I think, still sleeping. The title of the video is When Telling My Truth Disappoints Friends. The ordeals I have had to face over the past 15 months or so have not been easy for me. On the contrary, I have questioned practically everything I ever believed to be true. This is compounded by the fact that I committed myself since my teenage years to telling my truth as I understood it. When my truth included my doubts and disappointments in God, a significant number of my friends abandoned me, though I'm sure they framed it as me abandoning them. I could no longer take their hopium. I could no longer simply believe what my own experience seemed to contradict. Oh, I still believe in God. I just don't believe the life we've been given is much of a gift. To me, it's hell on earth. Yes, there are still purveyors of promises, as I was most of my life, but unfulfilled promises and the resulting frustration and disappointment are the bane of humanity, and some say the food of demons. If true, I guess I'm playing right into their hands, since skepticism has become my reality. Sorry, but that's my truth. And before I even get into talking much about that, I was at a meeting last night with a circle of friends, Bruno Groning's circle of friends, and this is a new group of friends that I have, and it's interesting. There was a smaller than usual group since several of the people that normally attend this meeting, which is about every 3 weeks we have a meeting, several of the people for various reasons were unable to attend, and there were only 6 of us there. So we had more discussion than what we usually have. And it's interesting. I wrote down where the people are from. The hostess is from Turkey and has traveled all over the world. The other people that were there, one's from, were all female, except for me. I was the only male. The others come from India, England, South Africa, and Peru. Believe it or not, that's all over. That's touching. That's touching pretty much every continent except Australia. Is Europe? Yeah, everything, every continent except Australia was the only continent not covered, and Antarctica, of course. That doesn't count because supposedly not many people live there. But anyway, I have had a tremendous exodus of friends. I mean, groups that I supported and was supported by for years seem to, now I say seem to, have abandoned me. I've watched my numbers on my videos dwindle. A lot of that has to do with the ambassador and with the stuff that occurred when people were trying to tell me he was not on the up and up. And I, because of my relationship with him and how he came across with me, I just didn't want to even consider that they were telling me the truth. Although now I don't know. When my trip to Australia went as it did, and none of the promises that he made that he was going to connect me with people in Australia, none of that materialized. And I just don't know anymore, folks. But I have obviously disappointed a lot of my friends. And my friends also have disappointed me because they somehow doubted my integrity or truthfulness or honesty or whatever they did. There just seems to be a breakdown. And no breakdown is more significant than the breakdown, my breakdown with God. I mean, I've always been very honest with God. I've never held back. If I've had frustrations or disappointments or something like that, I've always expressed it. That's my relationship with, that's the kind of relationship I have with what I call God. There have been times that I thought I absolutely connected with God, knew God on a personal level, was God's friend, God was my friend. It was an intimate relationship. I honestly felt that, believed that. Now I look back at it all, and I think to myself, was I lying to myself? Was I making it all up? Was any of it real at all? You know, these are the kind of things that go through my mind now in retrospect, because, as I've said before, losing my home, which was given to me by Reverend Dr. Mary Horgan, the first female minister ever in Brevard County, Florida. It was her gift to me, and I was the one that insisted that she give half of it to the Shriners, and the Shriners weren't my friends. And even the lawyer that abandoned me because she was ill at the very end, before I lost my home, she was going to try to get the Shriners. She had a connection with the Shriners in another state, not Florida. And she was going to try to get them to help me. Now, of course, none of that ever materialized either. But losing my home, and it's not just losing my home. You have to understand that I had a fairly significant library in my house. Books do not hold up well in an air-conditioned situation. And Florida is very humid, and my books are all stored in a warehouse that's not air-conditioned. There's no electricity at all in the warehouse, in the storeroom. And my books are going to be, I don't know what's going to happen. Books don't handle humidity well. And there's other things that are stored there that I don't know how it's going to hold up. Insects can get in and out of the garage. There are two garages right next to each other, two garage units, and there's no wall between them. It's a two-unit garage, a two-car garage, basically, each with its own door, but a two-car garage, and that's where all my stuff is stored. And I don't even I have had to go out and buy stuff here, living with my son, that I know I have somewhere in storage. But to find it, we packed things very rapidly at the end, and things were not marked, what was in the boxes that were being packed. And so I don't even have access to my own stuff. And I've had to go out and actually buy a few items that I have, but just don't have, they're not accessible. So these are the dilemmas that I have, but my friends have disappointed me, and I have disappointed my friends, but I'm still going to be committed to telling my truth. That's a principle that I established since I was a teenager and started realizing that my family and some of my friends didn't like that I was exploring other possibilities. They wanted to confine me to what I was being taught was the truth, and never questioning what I was taught, never exploring outside the box. But I've always been an explorer, and I disappointed my family early on, and I feel I've disappointed most people that I know, and that's why my numbers on my videos have dwindled to the point that they have dwindled to. People aren't listening to me. Am I any less truthful than I was before? No, I'm not. But I don't believe some of the things, or I'm not sure of some of the things that I thought were a surety previously. So anyway, that's the dilemma I have, and I'm explaining the situation, and hopefully some of you, I'd like all of you, but that's not possible. I'd like to have some understanding and some compassion. So thank you for listening. Namaste.